Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Last time we were being attacked by a very large tree, a large ferocious tree. Cast spells at you, tree. Alright. Truth be told, this tree can't do anything to you. Free souls, make sure to spend them all in one place. 180 souls on your first playthrough. He will not respawn. But he does open up a secret passageway that I've not shown off. Also, to get people some bearings about where we are, especially if you're a new player, and let's say you're not comfortable fighting that Moonlight Butterfly. Moonlight Butterfly is a spellcaster. I completely not explain the mechanics of that fight at all. It's a spellcaster, so if you have a high magic shield, I actually had the Gargoyle shield on me. Well, actually, that's not all that much better. It's better than the frickin' Balder shield. Ooh. This Gargoyle shield is actually a very decent mixed magical defense shield. So if you find that a lot of people keep doing more magical damage to you, or, pardon me, doing more fire and lightning damages to you compared to physical damage, this could be a good shield for you. Or if you're finding that you're getting casted at a lot by fire or lightning casters, this again could be a good shield for you. However, pyromancy works a little bit weird in this game. Hopefully I'll never have to explain that. I just don't want to. I will explain it eventually, but at the moment, won't be bothered. But yes, so this path will lead us to the bonfire that we just rested at, and to the left here is where we got ambushed with that treasure in the center of the room. So when you come down here, it's a very easy thing to miss. It's just off to the right here, and the tree will just be right here blocking this path. If you do stand around for a bit, he will kind of slowly move out towards you, but he won't ever do anything. So that's why he was pretty obvious this time around. But as we go down here, we're going to kill him, and we're going to get some green moss. Now, the mosses I haven't explained either. Green mosses I won't ever use. What they will do is give you a short, I believe it's only like 1 minute, time period where you will regenerate more. And as you can see, this tree is also moving. The only way you can ever really find out about these trees is if you're not paying attention to every tree in the game's roots. There's another area you can go to where you can look down on this garden, and you can actually see these trees moving. And that's really your only hint in the game, is that looking at one zone from another zone. Here you can see we're actually completely encroached in trees. But that won't always be true. So here's one of my favorite traps in the game, and I'm just going to spring it, but you can see this dead soul, well, not dead, but this stone soldier. And when we get close to him, he's going to proc. He's going to become alive. But then there's geckos. Geckos from the water. So we're going to try to take this guy down with magic, but as you can see, this is doing nothing. 45. And, you know, we've one-shot other enemies using this spell. Ooh, he's getting quite aggressive. But yeah, that's why spellcasters, and specifically like a dex build, or specifically a dex build that is using, you know, spellcasting to take out the physically resistant, things that they can't backstab. This zone could be a very tough area for a spellcaster or dex build. So don't feel bad about leaving this zone off till later. You don't get a lot of souls from it. You do get some decent materials off of these geckos or the scarecrow people, which again, for a dex build or a spellcaster, it's going to be slightly difficult. I think it was taking me like 2 spells to kill the bush people. I call them bushmongers generally. That's not their name, but I call them bushmongers. So this area can actually be quite difficult. Because we're using the Drake Sword, we are not having a difficult time. So this is the last zone that I'm going to be using this Drake Sword for a bit. I do want to showcase other weapons, and I'm finding myself getting a little attached to it. And if it was another weapon, I'd be kind of okay with that, but it's... And by the way, the Drake Sword's only going to get you through your first playthrough. It has no stat scaling on it. That's the giant weakness behind this sword. But we'll come up here, we'll get the wolf ring, which I'm a big fan of, because now we have a second ring to finally switch over to. Oh my goodness, I missed that jump. But no, the reason I was saying oh my goodness is I realized that I killed a Black Knight and he's guarding a treasure and I didn't even go get that treasure. So now I'm going to have to tie up that loose end and go get that. Yeah, that jump I just tried to make and did a horrendous job of succeeding at. Very easy jump to make. You just have to actually get to the ledge of the platform, and I was sloppy. Because we've already... Ooh, this is going to turn bad fast. Ooh, I got it. I got it. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Blooming purple moss. These bush people are good to farm up for these mosses, and I know I have not talked about these mosses at all, so let's get started on that. The mosses, each moss can cure a status ailment, and then the green moss will regenerate your stamina a little bit faster for only about a minute. They're not a reliable... Ooh, there's our damage is going down. We went down from 80 down to 57. That's from our weapon being at risk. So, time to switch. Kaistus, you're on. Oh, I was just talking about something that I actually had something to say about, and I have no idea what. I was talking about not spells, not miracles, not pyromancy. Let's talk about weapons. Oh, the Drake Sword. Has no stat scaling. So first playthrough, it's going to feel like a very overpowered sword. Eventually, it does meet its match. Also in the game, I'll tell you guys when I feel like the game actually like ramps up its difficulty, and you'll actually have to be not on top of your game, but you'll have to know what you're doing. You won't be able to muscle your way through the game. This could be considered one of those zones where you lose the ability to... Oh, I missed? Where you lose your ability to muscle your way through, although as you saw, the Drake Sword still does have enough bite to it that it can muscle itself through this area. Alright, now to not do this inappropriately, but yeah. Just jump in a straight line across the way, not at a terrible angle, which I don't know why I did. But these are an enemy you cannot parry. Well, actually, I don't know if you can parry them or not. I've actually never attempted to. But here, just keep getting on their side or their backs. Oh, I was talking about the purple moss. That was actually what I was talking about. Or the mosses. So there's 3 varieties, besides the green moss, which I'll probably never mention again. Not a big fan of it. We have red moss. Red moss will stop bleeding buildup. I'm not a big fan of that because there is one weapon in the game that does cause bleeding, like, to the user of it, in which case that moss actually might be a useful thing. However, in the time that it takes you to activate your moss, it's not a long time period, so here it is. You know, it's a second or two. We'll say it's 2 seconds. Give it a little bit of a long duration, so to speak. This Kaisis is not going to work out for me at all. Well, I don't know. Gargoyle Tail? Haha! The Gargoyle Tail has an innate ability that increases your bleed, your poison, and your toxic resistances. So if you find that those are things that are becoming an issue to you, this is something that you can put, you can use as a weapon. What's my running attack for this? I actually hate this axe. That does have a downward... Ooh. New ring is the Wolf Ring. This increases your poise by 40, a flat 40. One of the special rings given to the 4 Knights of Gwyn. The Wolf Ring belongs to Artorias the Abyss Walker. Artorias had an unbendable will of steel and was unmatched with a greatsword. Huh. I might have to bring a greatsword to that fight then. Here is another crystal lizard, and he will run away from you. What I would recommend is walking down the hill here until you approach him. And then once you approach him and he starts running away, sprint after him. Even in heavy armor, you should be able to catch up to him. Just make sure that your running attack will strike downward to hit him. Because there are a few swords in the game that I have shown off where you can miss. I don't know what weapon to use. This is terrible. Got so comfortable with that Drake sword, I did not bother upgrading anything else. I'm not a big fan of the gargoyle axe. I don't like the moveset to it. So we'll show off the spear weapons for a bit. Alright, here we're going to come down here, and there's actually this secret little ledge that a lot of people tend to miss. But you can get the leather armor set, and this is what the hunters start off with. And then if we pillage the corpse further, which just press X again, he will have a long bow and feather arrows for you as well. This longbow is actually going to become very useful to us in a moment, although there is one last bonfire I want to rest at, and I nearly jumped into that chasm. That would have been terrible.